This is the custom HTML form element series, and in this series we're gonna build custom text input field, custom range slider, and also we're gonna add some extra features such as checking if caps lock is on or off, or we're gonna add the toggle button for password visibility. Similarly, we're gonna build custom checkbox, radio button, you name it. And in this episode, I'm gonna show you how can you customize your text input field. Without further ado, let's start. Hello and namaste everyone. This is Jitsaru with Coding Design. Welcome to our channel. If you are new here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. I have already created my HTML and CSS file, and I do have some images too. So inside the HTML file, if I type exclamatory sign and hit that tab button, you will get this HTML boilerplate. Now let's keep the title. Now let's go to the body tag, and inside the body tag I'm giving div with the class name container, and inside that container div I'm giving another div with the class name site content. Next to that site content div I'm creating form element, and inside that site content div I'm giving heading as welcome to coding design. Inside the paragraph tag I'm suggesting you to subscribe my channel. Okay, you can write anything, it's not like you have to write this. So now let's create image element, and I'm setting my image. If I go back to the browser and let's refresh, now you can see that huge subscribe button. Now let's go to the form element. Now inside the form element I'm giving the heading, and next to that let's create div with class name user. Inside that div let's create image. Okay, I'm giving the image SVG image with class icon, and let's create input type as text, and for the input field I'm giving input field as a class name, and also I'm setting other attributes like autofocus. Similarly, let's set placeholder. I'm writing username. Now let's select this all and press Ctrl Shift and down arrow. Okay, I have copied heading too, so let's delete that. So now let's, instead of user, let's type password. Similarly, in the placeholder I'm writing password and remove that, and also for the input type I'm giving password. Similarly, let's change the image log.svg. Similarly, let's give a small message in the span. Okay, and I'm setting span with the class name msg, and next to that let's give the button a type of submit, and I'm setting its value as sign in. Now let's go to the browser and refresh. Now you can see huge icons. So now let's link the CSS file. So inside the head tag, just down below title, so now let's go to the CSS file. So to remove margin, browser's default margin and padding, I'm giving margin and padding at 0. Let's add some style to body. So for the body I'm giving height to 100 VH. So display flex, justify content center. So if I refresh the browser, you can see some difference. Align items to center. So now let's set its background color to, I'm setting some transparent color. Now let's style the container. For the container, I'm setting its width to 60% and height to 60%. And display flex. Now if I refresh the browser, okay, there is some changes. Okay, now let's set its background color. I'm giving some green color, and also let's set its border radius 0.4 rem. Now let's style the site content. Okay, before styling the site content, let's change the font family. So for the font family, I'm setting Arial, and also for the font size, I'm giving 1.6 rem. And let's refresh the browser. So it's a very huge font. Let's change this to 1.1 rem. Okay, now it's looking better. Now let's style the site content. For the site content, I'm giving padding. Top bottom, I'm giving 2 rem. For the left and right, 1 rem. So for the width, I'm giving 32%. Similarly, let's give color white. Text align to center. Now you can see the subscribe button is so huge, so let's make it a bit small. So for the subscribe button, I'm giving width 60%. For the height, auto. Similarly, let's keep the margin from top to bottom 0.8 rem, from left to right 0. Similarly, let's give some margin for the heading too. So margin of from top to bottom 1 rem, from left to right 0. Now let's style the form element. For the form element, I'm setting its width to 65%. Now if you have noticed that, like for the site content I have gave 35%, and for the form element I have gave 65%, in total which makes 100%. Okay, so now for the form I'm setting its background color to white. In the browser you can see the round corner has been hidden. So to fix that, let's set the containers overflow to hidden. Similarly, let's come back to the form and let's set its the height auto. Overflow X to hidden. And for the overflow Y to auto. Now let's align its text to center. Let's first style the user and the password class. For the user and password class, I'm setting position to relative, height to 2.5 frame, and display flex. Let's give margin from top to bottom 1.5 rem, from left to right 0. Similarly, let's align its item to center. You can see the icons are so huge, so let's style it. So for the icon class, I'm setting its width to 1.2 rem, for the height 1.2 rem. Now if I refresh the browser, you can see looking better. Similarly, now let's style the input field. For the input field, I am setting its width to 80%. For its height, I am setting 1.5 rem. Similarly, for padding, I am giving 0.2 rem for top to bottom. Left to right, I am setting 0.5 rem. Margin left, 0.8 rem. Let's set its border to none, outline to none. If I refresh the browser, now you can see. So let's keep some padding. For the form, I'm setting 1 rem padding. Now it's looking better. Okay, similarly now let's give for the input field border bottom 1.5 rem solid, and for the color gray, I'm giving gray. Okay, that's not 1.5 rem, 1.5 pixel. Okay, now it's looking good. Now let's give that message. Password was incorrect. Okay, I'm writing password was incorrect. Now let's style this message. For the message class, I'm giving position to absolute. So from bottom, minus 1.4 rem. So I'm also setting margin left to 2.8 rem. Similarly, now let's style the sign in button. So for the sign in button, I'm giving margin from top to bottom 1 rem, left to right 0. For the padding, I'm setting 0.8 rem for top to bottom, and from left to right 1.5 rem. Similarly, let's give the background color for the button. So I'm giving the same green color. Now for the color, I'm giving white. Similarly, I'm giving border none, border radius of 0.4 rem. If I refresh the browser, now you can see a better version of that button. Similarly, now so when you focus the input field, I want to give like border button same value, but I want to change the color. Okay, so I'm giving same green color. So if I refresh the browser, now you can see when it is focused, you can see the green border at the bottom side. Okay, so now if I go to the browser, okay, let's change the input field's width to 90%. Now if I refresh the browser, now you can see, okay, now it's looking good. Now if I type anything, okay, you can see, I think it's looking good. Now when I hover that sign in button, let's change its cursor to pointer. Now if I refresh the browser and if I hover, you can see. And for the site content, I want to give some background image. So I have already paste the image in the same folder. Let's give some background image for the site content. Now I have changed my mind, like for the content, I don't want to give that color. I want to give that color for the site content. So in the background, I'm setting its color to that green color, and for the image, I'm giving URL. Okay, that image shouldn't be repeated. Background position for the X center, for the Y center. And also let's give background size to content. Now if I refresh the browser, now you can see the background image. Now I think it's looking good. So that's all for today. This is the second episode, and in this episode I'm gonna show you how can you check the caps lock key if it's on or off. Without further ado, let's start. This is the third episode, and in this episode I'm gonna show you how can you toggle the password visibility. I mean, how can you show and hide your password. Without further ado, let's start. This is the fourth episode, and in this episode I'm going to show you how can you build the custom checkbox with a little bit of animation. Without further ado, let's start. this is the fifth episode, and in this episode I'm going to show you how can you build the custom radio button, and also I'm going to show you how can you build custom switch slider. Without further ado, let's start. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did learn something, smash that like button. If you have any kind of queries, let me know in the comment box. Share this video if you think someone needs it. And also, if you haven't already hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell icon. Remember, there is always more to learn, so keep learning.